The hidden treasure of the Enchanted Forest. The sun hung lazily in the afternoon sky, casting golden hues across the village fields, while two best friends, Alex and Mia, sat under the sprawling branches of an ancient oak tree. This oak was their meeting spot, a place where their adventures began. The two had explored every corner of their small town, the rolling hills, the winding rivers, the old mill on the outskirts. But there was one place that remained a mystery, a place everyone in town avoided, the Enchanted Forest. The Enchanted Forest, shrouded in fog and folklore, lay just beyond the village. Legends spoke of strange creatures lurking within, plants with magical properties, and most tantalizing of all, a hidden treasure. Old villagers would sit by the hearth at night and tell stories of brave souls who ventured into the forest, never to return. Those who did come back rarely spoke of their journey, and when they did, their memories seemed foggy, as if the forest itself had bewitched them. Mia, the more cautious of the two, often wondered aloud about the truth behind the tales. "Do you really think there's a treasure? Or is it just another village legend?" she asked, watching the forest's dark outline from a distance. Alex, always eager for adventure, grinned. "There's only one way to find out, right?" That evening, after their conversation about the forest, something remarkable happened. As they wandered along the riverbank near the edge of the forest, Alex's sharp eyes caught sight of something glinting in the fading sunlight. Buried among the smooth stones of the riverbed was a small, ornate glass bottle. Its surface was clouded with age, but through the clear glass, they could make out a rolled-up parchment inside. "This has to be important," Alex muttered, his excitement building. Carefully, they pried the cork from the bottle and slid out the parchment, unrolling it with trembling hands. What lay before them was an ancient map. The paper was weathered and fragile, yellowed with age, but the markings were unmistakable. A winding path snaked through what could only be the Enchanted Forest, leading to a large red X at its heart. Around the edges of the map, strange symbols were drawn, symbols neither of them could understand. Mia felt a shiver run down her spine. This could be the map to the treasure," she whispered, hardly believing the words coming from her mouth. Alex's eyes gleamed. "It is the map, and we're going to find that treasure." The next morning, armed with their newfound map, they packed supplies, a flashlight, a compass, some snacks, and an old journal Alex's grandfather had given him, filled with tips for surviving in the wilderness. They told no one of their plan, fearing the grown-ups would stop them if they knew. With a final look at their village, the two friends stepped into the Enchanted Forest. The moment they crossed the threshold, the atmosphere shifted. The air was cooler, almost crisp, and a fine mist hovered just above the ground, curling lazily around their ankles. The trees here were enormous, their trunks thick and twisted, their bark dark and covered in moss. Sunlight barely pierced through the thick canopy above, casting the forest floor in a permanent twilight. Alex, with his usual bravado, led the way, holding the map in one hand and the compass in the other. Mia followed closely, her eyes darting around, taking in the unfamiliar sights. They had always heard the forest was alive, but now they understood. The leaves seemed to rustle in whispers, and every now and then, they caught glimpses of movement in the corner of their eyes. A flash of silver, the glint of something that wasn't quite an animal. For hours, they followed the map's winding path, crossing bubbling streams and navigating through thick underbrush. Along the way, they encountered extraordinary sights. A herd of deer with silver antlers grazed peacefully in a meadow, their fur shimmering as if touched by moonlight. Birds with feathers as bright as gemstones flitted between the trees, singing melodies unlike anything they had ever heard. Strange, luminescent flowers dotted the forest floor, their soft glow lighting the way ahead. At one point, they stumbled upon a small clearing where an ancient stone circle stood. The stones were covered in moss and vines, and their surfaces were etched with more of the strange symbols they had seen on the map. Mia ran her fingers over the carvings, her heart racing. "What do you think these mean?" she asked. "I'm not sure," Alex replied, studying the symbols. "But whatever it is, it's been here for centuries." The deeper they ventured, the more the forest seemed to respond to their presence. The path became harder to follow, twisting in unpredictable ways. Occasionally, the map seemed to pulse with a faint glow, almost as if guiding them forward. Finally, after what felt like hours, they reached the destination marked by the red X. The clearing before them was unlike any they had seen. At its center stood an ancient tree, far taller and broader than any other in the forest. Its massive roots twisted and spiraled around the base, coiling around something that gleamed faintly in the soft light. "This has to be it," Alex said, his voice barely above a whisper. With trembling hands, they began to dig beneath the tree's roots. The soil was soft, as if it had been waiting for them to arrive. After several minutes, their hands hit something solid, a chest, buried deep within the earth. The chest was old, its wood weathered and cracked, but it was intricately carved with the same symbols they had seen on the map and stones. Mia's hands shook as they worked together to pry it open. The hinges creaked, and with a final push, the chest opened, revealing its contents. But instead of gold coins or sparkling jewels, they found a single book. Its cover was bound in thick, leathered hide, and the same glowing runes marked its surface. The moment Mia touched it, the air around them shifted. The forest grew still, as if holding its breath, and then from the very air itself, a voice spoke. It was soft yet commanding, echoing through the trees. "You have found the treasure of the Enchanted Forest," the voice said. "But it is not gold or jewels you seek. The true treasure lies in knowledge and wisdom. This book holds the secrets of the forest, the ancient wisdom of those who came before. Guard it well, for it will guide you through paths unseen and open doors to worlds you cannot yet imagine." The voice faded, and for a long moment, Alex and Mia stood in silence, their hearts pounding in their chests. "What do you think this means?" Alex finally asked, his voice barely audible. Mia held the book close to her chest. "I think," she said slowly, "this is just the beginning." As they left the clearing, the weight of the book heavy in their hands, they knew their adventure was far from over. The forest had given them something far more valuable than riches. It had given them the key to knowledge, knowledge that would unlock mysteries they had never dreamed of.